Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Harvest. Harvest is an incredible strong crafting tool, so I've bought 2 sections on standard. So we have a Harvest here, and with the passives you can get up to, I think it's 4 different line lots, maybe 5, but at least 4. If you want to be able to craft on anything, you need to be in at least a tier 9 map. That lets you craft on item level 100 because you can craft on anything 10 levels above, and there is nothing above item level 86. That means that currently in the game, item level 86 and 100 is the same. So if you're in a tier 9 map, you can craft on any item. If you're in, for example, a tier 1 map, a 68, you can only craft on up to item level 78 items. So now you see we have a yellow lot and we have a blue lot. And there are several different types of harvest you can get. You can get an augment, which is similar to an exalt, but it would be a specific one. So for example, we could get a harvest life augment. That would be augment a life modifier. We can also get a null and exalt augment. I had 2 of those this league. So that would be, and they're incredibly rare. It would be remove a non-life modifier, add a life modifier. And then you have the most common one, which is reforge life. And you have another one, which is reforge life, more likely to get more life modifiers. So the ones that are more likely to roll of a certain modifier, they would also be like kind of similar to fossils, where, you know, everything with life on it will be more likely to roll, but it'll guarantee at least one. And the other one is just guaranteeing one. And they are no longer like alchemies. Like they're either, you know, you can use them all either on white items or all on rare items. So you don't have to like scour an item repeatedly. And we have so many, like we have fire, cold, lightning, like all the normal things. Crit as well, and speed. There's no attribute one and no mana one. And then we have loads of utility ones. So allows to upgrade to an offering of the goddess, which lets you give dedication, tribute, or gift to the goddess. These are uber labs. And gift of the goddess is the one you want. That gives you 6 enchants. Here on the other one, you can see we have chaos, and then we have divination cards. This can give you things like sacrifice a full stack of divination cards. The 6-link Imperial Bow card is really good for this. The Bex card is really good for this. It's got like 13. Now, do remember, you want to make sure that you don't mix the sacrifice div card with a double. Sometimes we see people sacrificing a full stack and thinking they're doubling. And we've seen people doing that with like doctors. So they're literally like, you know, literally destroying cards. So that's pretty painful. So here we have the sacrifice. We have a change div card. We have, you know, if you find an item with like contains aspect of the spider, you can make that into a spider lure, making it more likely. And with this, you could like, you know, find a good div card you want. And I don't even know if I have any on standard. Dapper Prodigy, boom. We didn't lose any, but we didn't gain any. And that could have made me lose the entire stack, or it could have doubled it. Here we have caster, we have some map options. This will give you, you know, infused domination, infused ambush, stuff like that. Here we have another really good one, which is, I go for this a lot. It's the one that lets you swap essences around. Particularly good in this league since we are showered in essences. It works on the special essences, and it works on just, you know, moving a stack of like 9 deafenings around. So I don't have any of the special essences, but let's say that these were like, you know, 9 Shrieking Doubt, which would be a really good one to swap around. Like, oh wow, now I got Loathings. Now I keep those. Got Contempt. I don't want to keep those. Reforged Fist, really good for creating good weapons. You have some utility ones here, which is causes other seeds to offer an additional crafting outcome. That basically means that we get 8 and more likely to get things that you want. There is also another one that is causes other seeds to have a luckier outcome. Obviously, there are different roles, and some of them have like augments and null augments, and it would be more likely to get those when you have that lucky. Sadly, we no longer have like the Harvest region. Hayward Hamlet used to have a lucky thing. Now, another thing to mention, oh, I probably glossed over this, but this is how you open your stash tab. Not everybody knows that that is there. You can also store crafts to bring in your hideout for later, and we'll do that with the Reforge more likely to show how that works. We have linking. We can get up to 6 links. They're more common than like the Prophecy 6 link was, but still pretty rare. I think I've had 2 or 3 Harvest 6 links. So they do exist, but they're still very rare. And we have another Reforge more likely. flask quality, there is gem quality as well. Reforged colors, this is like the best way of getting off colors on gear by far. So very, very useful. There's also resist swappers, and a not known thing about the resist swappers is if you have, there's an amulet, for example, with incursion stats. Actually, this works on all of the incursion stats pretty much. And it'll be like an amulet with like 48 lightning rest, leech lightning damage deal as life. That can be swapped, and that'll swap the leech as well because it's one stat. So you can make that to fire or cold leech. There are gloves as well that have like different resist and an elemental property. They can also be swapped around with resist swapper. So there are really, really good uses for harvest. There are also more rare tier 4 seeds, and they are very, very rare. I barely ever get them. In my opinion, they should be made more common, because when you kill one of those, you have a chance, or guaranteed if you have the passive point for it, but you have a chance to get a Sacred Blossom, which lets you fight Oshabi. And once you fight Oshabi once, it guarantees that you can get 15, like you get 5 additional unlocks. So I'm going to show you how Reforge More Likely works now real quick, and how I use it. So Reforge More Likely is like the most powerful way we have of crafting. So I'm going to show you how Reforge More Likely works and what I do with it. So very, very often I will want spell suppression gear. That's kind of what that's my jam right now. That's what I want the most. So I bought some ults, and then we're gonna ult regal, and what I'm looking for is 1 res with life, spell suppression. I just want 2 stats, and then I'm gonna craft the other one. Right, so this is a good idea of something I want. Now I'm going to craft spell suppression on. So now this is attack speed as life, as cold resist, and crafted spell suppression. Now Reforge More Likely does not know that this is crafted spell suppression, and what it does is it makes it 90 times more likely to roll the same stats but at a different level. So now you can see that even though that was a dog shit item, now it's already usable, and it's no like wonder like, oh my god, I'm going to get perfect items with this, but it is a pretty good way to you get very solid items with this, because yeah, I very often, most of my endgame gear is crafted with essence spam or doing this, and yeah, it's 90 times more likely. Now by all means, please do not use this on anything rare. I do sometimes use it on +1 fire because I feel like that's common enough. I have never hit that. So it is rare enough that you'll probably never hit it. It is only 90 times more likely. But if it's something like +1 all skill gems, you're never ever going to hit that. So never use it on rare things. It's also important to note that harvest can be used with our influenced items. Obviously, like these do not count as influence, not the new ones. But I'm talking about like actually, Crusader, Warlord, harvest can still be used with those. However, the annul exalt, so like remove non-life, add life, those do not work, and the augment life, those do also not work. They thought those were too powerful because we could guarantee perfect items, and I'm inclined to agree. I think the current harvest is pretty balanced. We just need some way of getting like less common outcomes. So there are some really good things from harvest. They're incredibly useful. There are some other things as well that I almost forgot to mention. There are enchants that will change the quality, or what quality does. So instead of, on a weapon, instead of blacksmith whetstones giving base damage, they will give elemental damage, or they will give attack speed. So there are so many really good things in harvest, and I just thought you guys should know about it, especially for loads of new players. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Sub if you like it, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.